What do you do when you find the last of something? Some journeys aren't programmed, they're chosen.
You were never the last. You were just lost.
Sometimes the thing you save saves you back.
Every light finds its way home.
The hard truth is most people think AI filmmaking is just typing a prompt and generating a clip, but that's only the first step. A real short film still needs characters, scenes, locations, pacing, style, and a story that actually connects. And that's where most AI workflows break. You end up using one tool for characters, another tool for backgrounds, another tool for scenes, and then you're stuck trying to stitch it all together into something that feels like one episode. So today I'm testing out AniShort, an AI filmmaking platform that takes one script and turns it into a full animated short using a node-based production pipeline. It builds the characters, creates the storyboard, it generates the scenes, it assembles the episode, and it even helps turn that episode into short-form clips. So by the end, we'll see if AniShort is just another AI video tool or one of the fastest ways to turn a script into a complete animated film. So what is AniShort? AniShort is an AI platform built to turn a single script into a fully animated short film. So instead of creating every character, scene, background, and shot manually, you start with a script or a simple prompt, and AniShort helps turn that idea into a full production pipeline. The workflow is pretty simple. You start with the script, then AniShort helps you build the characters, then it creates a storyboard, then it generates the scenes, then it assembles the finished episodes, and after that, you can turn the episode into short form clips for platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And that's why this is interesting for creators, because most AI video tools are built around one-off clips. But if you're trying to build a real content channel, you don't just need one cool clip, you need repeatable content. You need characters that people can recognize, you need episodes, you need short form clips, and you need a workflow you can keep using over and over again. That's what we're testing today. So in this video, I'm going to test AniShort in 5 parts. First, we'll start a new project and see how it handles a simple script. Second, we'll walk through the node-based pipeline and see how the story moves from script to storyboard to finished scenes. And third, we'll compare the different visual styles, including anime, 3D, comic, live action, and any other styles available inside the platform. And fourth, we'll generate a full animated short and see how much control we actually have when something looks off. And fifth, we'll look at how one finished episode can be turned into multiple short form clips for a faceless content channel. For those new here, I'm the avatar of John Kelly, one of the minds behind Digital Creator AI. We help creators, solopreneurs, and anyone building an online brand master the best AI tools, workflows, and strategies to grow every step of the way. So if that sounds like you, subscribe and turn on those notifications. All right, let's test out AniShort. Now, before we dive in, just know that the links to AniShort will be available down in the description and the pinned comments of this video. Go down there, sign up for a free account, and follow along with the video. Once you've logged in, the first thing we're going to do is come up here to the workspace option. I want you to click on this, and this will take you over to your workspace. So the first thing we're going to do is click here on Start Creating. We're going to name our project. So I'm going to call this Test Project 3. I'm going to click Confirm. Now let's give AniShort a second, and it's going to open up our workspace. And this is where we can get started creating a new animated short from either a script or a simple prompt. So first, let's click here on Script. And this matters because the better your starting script is, the better your final animation is going to be. If you give this a vague idea, you're probably going to get a vague animation, but if you give it a clean story with clean characters, simple scenes, and a beginning, middle, and end, you're giving the AI much more to work with. So for this test, I'm going to use a simple animated story idea. I have some projects that I worked on already, but I want to take you guys through each of the steps here. So we're going to start from scratch. So before we start generating, AniShorts lets us choose the visual style up front. So let's come over here to the top right and let's click here on Global Style. And this will give us the different options that we can pick from. As you can see, they have anime, realistic, and you can create your own styles. And this is important because style changes everything. An anime story feels different from a 3D comic. A cinematic live action feels different from a cartoon short. So before you hit generate, you want to think about the type of channel you're building. Are you doing this for YouTube Shorts? Is this for a faceless story channel? Is this for comedy, drama, sci-fi, kids content, motivational storytelling? The style should match the story and the platform. So for this first test, I'm going to choose the stylized 3D animation style, and we'll start the project. So let's first generate our script and then generate our characters. Now let me give you some key shortcuts that I found helpful when using AniShort. If you hit on the H key, it'll change your icon to this little hand, and this will allow you to drag around the canvas. Once this starts being built out, you'll see different nodes on this canvas and they'll be connected. So you'll be able to either drag around. You can also zoom out and in by just scrolling in and out with your mouse or by pinching the mouse pad on your laptop. Over here to the left, you're going to see the list of all the different nodes that you start building out and the order that they're layered in. You can change up the canvas, rename it. You can also rename all the nodes here by just clicking on this pencil icon. To the right, we have the global style option. Here we have the save option, and we can also lock the collaboration. We can share it. We can download it here. We can see our tokens here. And here we can see different versions of the workspace that we'll be using as we go through the process. For example, if we click here on edit preview, this is where we're going to be able to see the assets that we generate. We're going to be able to add audio to this. We can also add video, subtitles, and text. And this is the final review where you will see the final project. So let's go back to the canvas and let's start working on our script. If we click here on the script, I'm going to use the H key, switch over to the hand, drag this, and then come over here to this prompt input section, and we can start writing this out. If we click on this plus here, this will allow us to add reference assets like image, video, audio, and text. Let's close this out for a second. And there's two ways to use AI here in this workspace. On the right here, you have this agent. If you click here on this Annie option, you'll see it pop up, and it is an assistant that will help you start building out your project and working here inside of the canvas. Now, if you have your script, you can either double click here and just paste it into this section here. For example, I just pasted this concept in here, and you have all these options up here to edit this. Now, if we come over here to the right and click the X, it'll take us back here to the node and to our canvas. But if you don't have a concept or an idea, you can always type here into the chat. I can always come here and say, help me optimize this script, and then paste in my concept. And on the left here, you can see the model that you can use. If we click this, you'll see that they have all the top models like Gemini 3.5 Flash, DeepSeek version 4 Pro, GPT 5.2, Qwen 3.5 Plus. I think using DeepSeek for this is going to be fine. So let's come over here and hit enter. And here in the center, we can see that it's populating the script node for us. So of course, you can always start from scratch, just like I did there using AI. You can also talk to the Annie creative assistant here on the right by telling it, help me create my script, and it'll assist you here in the chat. Down here, you can see the models as well. You can see the different type of reasoning that you can use and the models that you can select from. You also have this agent option here. If you click this will allow you to create a skill, so you can start building out your own custom skills and your own custom agents. You can also click here on the upload attachment option, and you can upload up to 5 files, images, videos, and documents to support the project and to add more context to what you're doing. So now that this is done, I'm going to generate some of the visuals. I'm going to use the Annie creative assistant for the next step. So I'm going to come over here in the chat. I'm going to click the @ symbol, and that's going to mention the nodes. You can see here it says reference canvas nodes. I'm going to click here on this. I'm going to say, please help me generate the characters and visuals. Using a dynamic live canvas like this is great. Once you can see all the nodes laid out, it's really helpful for brainstorming or coming up with projects, having everything in one place and being able to see it. So here it responded to me. It says, all right, let's turn your script into visual assets. I'll set up the extraction and character generation nodes so you can get the robot and firefly designs. Subject extraction node, connect to the script, pull the character scenes, and then the subject generation node. So here we can see the action plan. I'm going to click here on execute, and this is going to create the nodes for us here inside of the canvas. So I want these to be next to my script. I'm going to click here on the node, and I'm going to drag this over here. I'm going to zoom out. Down here at the bottom, you have some tools that will help you manage the canvas a bit better. You have the select option, which is where you're normally going to be, which you'll see here the cursor looks normal because the select option is on. Now the select option is on, which means my cursor looks normal, but I can also use the hand icon or the grab icon, which we talked about earlier. If you just click here on this hand, you'll see that it changes the cursor to a hand. But if you want to fit everything in view, you can click here on this option that says fit view, and this will fit everything that you're working on into one view. So it created for us a subject extraction node, which is this node here. It's going to take the subject from the script and then the storyboard generation node as well. So it's got the subject extraction node, and here is the subject generation node. So what we want to do is connect this. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on this, we're going to drag down, come here, click on that. So we can see now that our script is connected to the two nodes that it generated for us. If I want to move this around, I can always come here. We can actually click on the nodes and drag them around. So now that this is connected, we're going to have it pull out the data from our script. So I'm going to grab the hand here. I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to come here. I'm just going to use DeepSeek V4 Flash, and I'm not going to give it any extra rules. I'm just going to click here, and we're going to have it extract everything from the script. As we can see in the center here, it is extracting the subjects. So now we can see in the subject extraction node that it's pulled out the characters, the scenes, the props from the script we just created. Now, if you click here, you'll see that it says subject generation and storyboard generation. If you click on these, you'll see that the nodes get added here. And if we want to use these nodes, we just click here. Here it gives us option like creature-led, product-led, landscape only. It gives us this view here. So the banana multi-view, and then the image to design sheet. So these are the kind of references it can create. If we come down here to advanced settings, you can put in some extra rules for the extraction of the characters and the scenes. And then down here we have the model. We also have this option here, which shows all the subjects that it has selected. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click on input. And if we come over here, we'll see that it is currently generating our subjects. If I click here, we'll see full screen. Here we have the full screen view that we saw earlier when we looked at pasting in the script, and it's got a breakdown of the different subjects. On the left, you can see that it's adding more and more content based off the props, the characters, and the environments. All right, so it looks like this is done. If we click here on view generated results, it takes us here into this editor. If we scroll up to the top, we can see that it's broken down the characters here on the left and the environments. Here it says character, subject, prompts, character, the robot standardization prompt. It's got the name, the character type, the reference of the face, and the character design. It breaks it all down here. Let's close this out. Now that we've got that, let's see if we can come down here to the storyboard generation. If we click here on the storyboard node, you'll see that it says here in red, also connect a script segmentation node here, which means we need the segmentation node first to generate this. So if you ever have any issues, it will let you know what you need. If we drag down here, we'll see that I have my script segmentation node. All I have to do is come down here and I can actually add in any requirements that I need for the opening hook or the ending hook. I can also click through here on the project type. Right now, short drama, I think will be fine. For now, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on output as is. You'll see that it's gone over to this review and edit section here. Right now, I think this is fine. Let's come over to the storyboard and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click on generate storyboard paragraphs, and this is going to create the data for our storyboards. We can see here that it says it takes about 2 minutes. So let's give it a minute to do that. Now I can see that this has been split into the storyboard paragraphs. So we should be able to generate our storyboard visuals. If we wanted to connect this script segmentation over to this node, we could always take this, double click here and just drag this over here. And now if we click here, you'll see that we don't have that red message anymore. We can do text to video mode, paragraph and smart grid, paragraph plus story grid. For now, let's do text to video mode. So we use Cdance 2.0. Let's come down here to this option, which is the aspect ratio. If we click this, you can see you have all the aspect ratios needed for social media. So you have 16:9 for YouTube and 9:16 for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikTok. For now, I'm going to put it on 9:16. So down here, you have the options to select if this is a narrative or a storyboard timeline. For now, we're going to leave it on narrative, and you have the deep thinking option. You can turn that on or off. For now, I'm going to leave it off. Let's close this out. So let's come over here and I'm going to hit enter. And now it's giving me a pre-generation check. We need to generate all the subjects from the subject extraction card first. So let's do that. I'm going to click here on generate subjects first. All right. So here now what we can do is generate the characters. So I'm going to click here on generate characters. Now, if I come over here, you'll see this new node has been added. It's connected to my subject generation. If I click here, you'll see that it's got the style that we selected earlier, and it's got the subject data that we got from the other nodes. So I want the aspect ratio to be 9:16. 9x16. And I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag this down so we can see this. We got the model here that we can select. If we click this, you can see all the models that you can pick from. They have the latest Google models like Nano Banana. They have the GPT image models, and they have all these Seedream and Midjourney models. For now, I'm going to leave that as is. If I click here on camera effect, you'll see that it gives you different options to select from. So this allows you to quickly just select these and edit these to affect the output. For now, this is fine. I'm going to close this. If I want to generate more than one visual, which I suggest doing, I'm going to select this and put this onto 3. So we have 3 different options to pick from our character. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit the input and let's see what we get. And this makes the journey from beginner to pro much easier because you see step by step what you need to do to really get high quality outputs. So now we can see that it's generated our character. I asked it to generate 3 images. So if we scroll down here, you'll see this option here to click through. So we can click through here and it'll change up the image for us. So you can see it changed up the robot a little bit there. It's a different type and allowing us to pick our favorite one, right? So most of these are pretty similar. I think the first one I'm not really a fan of. I really like this visual, so I think we'll keep that. And if we wanted to generate more, we can also generate the scenes and generate the props. So what we're going to do is now generate the scenes. Now, if we come over here, this is a feature that I love about this tool. It's put these all into a group. If we come down here, there are 5 of these in total. So it's ready to generate the 5 scenes that it pulled from our script. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on run group. And it says run the whole group, about to batch generate 5 nodes, estimated 15 credits. Task will be started one by one. I'm going to click here on start. And now this will generate each of these visuals for us one by one. So we're not going to wait around for this. We're going to do the same thing with the props. I'm going to click here on generate props. I'm going to come over here. Now we have our scenes. And so now we have a scene group and a prop group. I'm going to click here on run prop group. I'm going to click on start. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you guys the canvas. And I'm going to drag around. And as you can see, we started with our script. We broke down the script, picked it apart, broke it into segments, pulled the environments, the props and the characters from that script, generated our main character, and now we're generating the scenes and the props over here. Once we have that, we should be able to take all this and use them as references to generate our actual storyboard. So let's look at some of these scene visuals that we got. I'm going to click here to open this up. And here's an example of one of the scenes that we got. I really like this scene here. Look at the visuals on the right. All right, so here we have the storm in the center. And then on the right, we have these really great visuals. So I'm going to close this. Here's the item. So we have our scenes and our props here. We got the fireflies and these different items. So now we should have everything to start generating our videos. So now I'm going to come down here to the storyboard. We're going to come over here. We're going to click on this, on generate. So now it's generating our storyboard script. All right, perfect. So now we can fetch subjects and we can generate movies. So I'm going to click here on generate movies. It'll batch create the video generation nodes. So I'm going to click here on generate the movie, and this is going to batch create the video generation nodes. So let's click here, and it said created 8 video node generation files. So now we've got all our references, we've got our script, we've got our characters, and it's created this video generation group. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in first so we can see this. I come up here and I'm going to click run group. It says run the whole group. It's going to cost about 1,560 credits. Tasks will be started one by one. I'm going to click on continue. Now we're going to wait for all of our scenes to be generated. So once these are all generated, we can use the edit preview to connect them all together and to create our final project. So I'm just going to wait for these all to finish. We'll piece them all together and we'll finish our story. We have all of our visuals now. We can see our reference character has stayed consistent, the visuals, the items, and here's the scene in one of the images that we saw earlier. There's our character again, exactly like we saw in the reference images. I really like how the visuals came out in this. Let me keep going down. It gets kind of dramatic here. We can see him going through the forest, looking for the firefly. Here's scene 7 and our final scene here at scene 8. Now I want to edit this all together. So let's come over here to edit preview. Now inside of our edit preview here in the center, we can see all the assets that we generated. It even has all of our videos. So let me add these to the timeline. If I click here, you'll see that it's added it here into the preview. And if I want to drag it down to the timeline, I can just drag down here and add it to the timeline. And what I'm going to do is add all of these to the timeline. So I'm going to zoom out here real quick. I'm going to grab all the rest of the scenes and I'm going to add them in there one by one. Let's grab the next scene here, bring it together with this scene, grab the next scene here, and we can see here it says scene 4, do scene 5, scene 6, scene 7, and scene 8. And just like any other editor, you could always trim these clips by clicking here on the split option. You can delete the clips by clicking here on on delete, you can copy, you can also paste, you can mirror, and you can change the speed. So let's preview this. I'm going to open the full screen option up here and I'm going to hit play.
What do you do when you find the last of something? Some journeys aren't programmed, they're chosen. Every hero breaks a little before they arrive.
You were never the last. You were just lost.
Sometimes the thing you save saves you back.
Every light finds its way home.
I love how that came out. That is not AI slop, and you can really fine tune this. If we go back to the canvas, don't forget that we still have all these other assets that we just worked on. We have all the visuals, all the environments, all the characters, and all the different videos here that we can download separately. So if we zoom in here, let's say we wanted one of these videos to promote the story on social media, or we wanted to break this up into chapters to put on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or any other platform. You can come here and you can click on this option that says download video, and it will download that specific clip. But if we go back to the editor, and let's say this is the final video that we want to use, we can come over here to this option that says export, click here. Here we can either export the video or we can export it as a project package. I'm going to export the video and let's give it a minute. Now that that's finished, you'll see that here in the final review tab, we can see the project. And if we want to download it, we can click here. It'll download the video. Here you can see the total episodes is now total episodes 1. You can also click here and get a preview of the video. The cool thing here is that we can give feedback on the content. We can also see the version history. If we scroll down, you'll see your episode list start building out here as you create more and more projects. And eventually this will be all organized with different episodes. Let's not forget the importance of having this canvas, because you have your characters here, you have all the reference shots, so you can continue to use this so that your visuals and your characters stay consistent. For example, here's our character. Now that we've used him once, we know that the character will come out the same way every time. And here is the character in the videos, consistent with everything that we see here. And as we can see from the video, all of our assets came out consistent. This means if we want to continue to generate episodes, we can just keep adding new assets or reusing assets to tell a story that makes sense and to have our character actually stay the same in all our videos. One of the hardest parts of using text to image and text to video for projects like this is character consistency and having full control over your visuals like this. The way that this takes you through this step by step is going to take anybody from pro to beginner. The more you use a tool like this, the more you'll understand exactly what is needed to create high quality AI content. So now what I want to do is go back to my workspace and I want to look at some different styles with you guys. I have this project here called 5 styles, and here I have a bunch of different styles. Let me use this option here so we can fit everything into view, and let's start zooming in here. So first let's start down here and I want to show you guys this. Now I was trying to create a gritty sort of anime, something new and abstract. So I created this style here. It's an abstract anime style. I really liked it and I wanted to do something like a basketball anime. One of the awesome things about this tool is the text to video, text to image models that you get access to. Seedance 2.0, you get the full version in here, and this tool is so cost efficient when it comes to token usage. It'll literally use like 1 or 2 tokens to generate a video. The amount of good, high quality content I've been able to generate with this, as you can see, I have all these different projects here, has been amazing. So let's check out this video here. I'm gonna open up the full screen and we're gonna hit here on play. The style and look of this, I feel like, is perfect. There are some things I would change or edit, but I could always do that inside of the tool. So I'm gonna close this out. Let's check out another one here. Let's open this, come over here, let's click play. I think that's a perfect shot. I think you can definitely use that shot right away. So apart from having the canvas and the references, you have all this generated media that you can reuse across socials to promote the episodes and promote the story. And again, the character stays consistent in all the shots. Once you lock in the character and the style that you want to use, having all those references is going to keep it consistent. This makes it super easy for you to continue to tell a story about a specific character, or even if you're smart, you can really get creative with this tool. For example, you could create a mascot for a product, keep it completely on brand by adding in all the visual assets that you want. Now, here's another aspect ratio. So this would be more for like YouTube, right? Instead of 9:16 for Instagram Reels or TikTok, this format would be more for YouTube. So I'm going to click play here. I think that shot was awesome, and this gritty kind of dirty look is what I was looking for with the prompt that I created, the style that I wanted. All right, so we've got all these different shots here, all these different visuals that I could use to continue to tell the story, and I've even got the option here to continue generating scenes. So for example, we've got this one connected here, so it has the visual here, but I want to generate maybe one of these other visuals. So let's come over here to this one, and I'm going to click here. It's got the reference here, and we can actually add more stuff. If you click on that plus, you can see it references all the different assets that I have in this project. So even if it's not specifically that thing that you're working on, if you're using a big canvas like I am here with different assets, you'll be able to grab pieces from one thing or another thing. So maybe you create a canvas for one specific aesthetic, and in that canvas, you just have different ideas that you play around with, and you just build that out. I think you could build a whole visual world and story inside of a canvas. So being able to see all this is great for world building and storytelling as well. So for now, I think we're going to leave that there, but I want it to use a specific model. But let's check out the models. We got Gemini Omni, Happy Horse 1.0, Seedance 2.0, Seedance 2.0 Fast, and Gmeng, this model here, 1.5. So let's click here on Seedance 2.0. Here we can change this to 480. That'll lower the token usage. We can also change it to 720. Here you can change the seconds as well. So here you can change the seconds by dragging this, and this will actually raise or lower the tokens. I'm going to keep it at 5 seconds. You can generate with audio on or off. And let's say we switch up the model like we do Seedance 2.0 Fast, you'll get an even better token usage on that as well. So I'm going to use Seedance 2.0 and let's see what we get with this. Hit enter there and let that generate. This aspect ratio is perfect for streaming, for television, for YouTube. I pointed this out earlier, but one of my favorite things about this is this run group feature. It'll run everything that you have inside of that group. So if it's generating images, it'll generate them all at once. If it's generating videos, it'll generate them all at once. This is great for starting a faceless YouTube channel and sticking to the character and sticking to the brand from the beginning. I think a lot of people struggle with that. With this tool, you'll be able to just launch something right away. Fine tune everything beforehand, launch your channel, have all the assets, and be able to control the story as you build out the channel. I'm going to keep that generating over there. I'm going to come over here and we're going to check out some of these projects. And here's an example of me building out a story scene by scene, right? So we have scene 1 here, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, scene 6, and our cover visual. If I zoom out, as somebody that's been using AI tools for years now, having this kind of layout and being able to really experiment like this gives you so much control over the story. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing. All right, so this is another style that I was working on, and it's a realistic sci-fi style. The story here would be that they find an alien gaming console that turns into a beacon and it tracks the good alien and the bad alien to the town that they're in. Here on the right, you can see the prompt, right? If you want to reuse it, you could always copy it. You also see the video settings down here and the model that it used. So it used Seedance 2.0. And here it says, the setup, the characters crowd around the glowing CRT television. One of the kids presses the button on the alien console and the digital radar map erupts with shifting lights. So it did exactly what the prompt said, which is the beauty of Seedance 2.0. In comparison to some other tools that are harder to manage, but the output you get is top notch and it looks great. Let's check out this shot here. For example, this clip could be used on TikTok or on Instagram. Think of your channel as like a real TV show or a movie. These could be clips that you use as like small trailers. All these posts, all these little clips that you could share across Instagram or TikTok or YouTube Shorts are like little trailers that attract people over to your content. Big brands and blockbuster movies do this. And the thing is, they just stay consistent. So it reminds you of the character, the story, and that's what you can do with this. So it's amazing. Now, if you don't know what style to pick, don't forget that you have the global style over here and you can use this as a starting point. They have a bunch of great styles that you could pick from. So you could always pick them here and you can create your own styles. Just click here on create and you can type in the visual style here, which is what I should have done with these prompts earlier, right? So like this here, the hyper cartoon anime style. I can just take this, copy here, paste it there, and then add style to library. We can give our style a visual here. So like a thumbnail for the style. We can actually pick, from what we copied. So that's the thumbnail. So we can call it hyper cartoon anime. And let's do add style. There we go. And it says style hyper cartoon, add it to the project. So now if we go over to our global styles, you'll see that in my styles, we have our custom style. We click on it, we can use it again and again as much as we want, adding another layer of consistency and control to your outputs. I hope this video was helpful. And remember, the official link to sign up for AniShort is pinned right down in the top of the comments and listed at the top of the description. So it's easy to find. If you want to cut out the headache of jumping between 7 different platforms and experiencing an actual all-in-one cinematic workflow with unbeatable token value, use the link below to sign up and start your very first free trial project. Start with a simple script and see what kind of animated short you can create. For those new here, I'm the avatar of John Kelly, one of the minds behind Digital Creator AI. We built this channel from scratch to over 110K, and we're helping creators and solopreneurs master the best AI tools, workflows, and strategies. So if that sounds like you, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Also, don't forget, if you want to turn your content on social media into an actual online business, you're going to need systems. So for a limited time, I'm hooking up my viewers with a free Instagram DM and comment automation tool so you don't have to pay for expensive apps like ManyChat. You'll never miss another comment or DM on Instagram, and I'll personally show you how I use it to get leads while I sleep and sell digital products on autopilot. If that sounds like something you need, the link is also down in the description. Sign up and let me know what you think. Now, if you're interested in taking your AI-generated content to the next level and making sure your hooks, scripts, and copy sound authentic and human, watch the video showing up on the screen, and I'll catch you all in the next one.